Hey friend, welcome to the kitchen. Today we are making creamy taco dip. This is a family favorite that we eat year round, whether it's summer at the lake or football season or Christmas Eve. This one is one that we absolutely love. So get your drink, turn on some fun music, and let's cook together. I'm going to show you what I'm drinking today. This is one of my favorite mocktails. My body doesn't like alcohol very much, and so I tend not to drink it. This is my faux amaretto sour is what this is. So use almond extract. We're going to use some cocktail cherries. I like these because they don't have red dye in them. And you're going to put a little bit of syrup. If you want a cherry in there, dump that in. I'm going to take some squirt. No, I did not get paid for this. You're going to put that in, and then you can top it off with ice. And this is just kind of a sweet and sour, yummy little treat. And I have not had anything fun to drink today. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so for this creamy taco dip, there's no meat in it, there's no beans, and this is cold. So this is one that's super easy. You can either put it together and eat it right away, or you can throw it together and stick it in the fridge and then get it out when it's time for dinner or when you have guests over. Either way, this is just easy. My daughter has become an expert in this because we always have it for Christmas Eve, and her mother is running around like a chicken with her head cut off. And so this is something that she knows how pretty much by heart. This is the second recipe card we've done. We got this from my husband's side of the family. So his mom wrote it out for me on just a little piece of scrap paper, and that has gotten stained and wet over the years, gotten lime juice on it. So it got written on one of my daughter's like school index cards back when she was in 8th grade, and she is married and an adult now. So just know this is well loved. Okay, so ingredients wise, here's what you're gonna need. For the base layer, you're gonna need your avocados, you're going to need limes, you're going to need cream cheese, sour cream, and mayonnaise. Okay, one more thing, garlic salt. Okay, for your toppings, you're gonna need lettuce. I prefer it in a head and chop it myself because the stuff in the bags is washed with really gross stuff. You're gonna have a tomato. You're gonna have an onion. Did I buy purple onions for this? Yes, I did. Did I forget them in my husband's truck and he's gone for work right now? Yes, he is. So I use sweet Vidalia onions in most of my cooking. So you can use a purple onion or red, whatever the heck they're called. Those are really tasty and really pretty, but if you don't have it, a regular onion is fine. Cheese, and then black olives. I like to buy my black olives, like I used to buy them in the can, and then we wouldn't use a whole can, and then I'm throwing the can away, and that annoys me. So I've started buying them in these little cups, and then I just can use 1 cup at a time, and it works perfectly. Next, let me show you what tools you're gonna need. Come on over here. You're gonna need a bowl to mix all your stuff together. You are gonna need a mixer of some kind, unless you wanna just really crank it out with your hand. I love these little juicers. They just fit on a wide mouth jar. We have these on our website, thelittleredfarm.com. If you don't have one though, you can just, again, use your muscles, squeeze those limes out, but this just makes my life easier. I always shred my own cheese. Don't buy it shredded, for the love. They put weird stuff in there to make it not stick together, and then it doesn't taste as good. So you will need some sort of a cheese grater, and then you're gonna want a pan. A 9x13 works really well. I've done it a double recipe on a cookie sheet, or if you have a fun like round platter, that works really well too. Okay, once you have all your stuff together, we're gonna start by making the bottom layer. The worst part about this recipe is trying to get avocados that are the right ripeness, because as you know, avocados are like, I'm hard, and then all of a sudden they're like, I can't do it anymore, I'm dead, and please throw me away. So we're gonna try this. I do have a backup. I learned that you can get frozen chopped avocados at the store, and those make life so much easier. Yeah, guys, this is gonna be too hard. I'm pretty sure. Nope, that one's too hard. If you do this and you've cut it, just go ahead and leave it on your counter. It'll be fine. If there's a brown edge in there, you can cut it off and still use the rest of the avocado. Let's try this one. I feel like I'm gonna cut my hand off. That's gonna make a great video. That one that's still too hard. Like, you should be able to kind of smush your avocado with your hand. This is the right color, but you should be able to squeeze your avocado like this and it pops out. This will, but it should be soft. It should be crushable. Buy your avocados like 5 to 7 days early. If your avocado's the right ripeness and you're like, man, I don't need this yet, but it's right, the right softness, throw it in the fridge, and that actually stops that ripening progression. Then you can have them in there when you need them. I did not buy mine early enough. So we're gonna cheat. I have found that these frozen ones, it's like they take the ripe ones and they just chop them up. So the flavor is good, the color is good, the softness is good. You just need them to be defrosted. So you can see in there. So I'm gonna put about 2 avocados worth in there. Okay, we're gonna soften those up. Shh, don't tell them use the microwave. So we've got our avocados in the bowl. Your cream cheese is gonna work best if it's soft. If it's not soft, go ahead and use your mixer to kind of beat it up before you add the avocado. Next is 1 cup of sour cream. And then you're gonna take a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. Guys, don't buy the cheap mayonnaise. I would love to learn to make my own mayonnaise, and if you do, I'm proud of you. That's amazing. So there's your 1/2 cup of mayo. And then we're gonna get our lime juice here. I like to roll them and kind of soften them a little bit first. Break a little bit of that flavor up. Okay, you need a tablespoon of lime juice. So that 1 lime is about a tablespoon. You dump that in there. And then you're gonna do garlic salt. You're gonna measure with your heart. It's about a teaspoon to a tablespoon. Okay, so you got everything in your bowl. We're just gonna beat the tar out of it. Turn it into a nice creamy. It always helps when you actually plug your mixer in. Okay. And I know this may sound kind of weird, these ingredients together, but I promise you, it's just very creamy, tangy, avocado-y. It's really a lovely combination. All right, we got our base layer all mixed up. So we're gonna start by putting that in our 9x13, or like I said, you can use a platter, whatever makes you happy. If you want, you can get out your tortilla chips and you can test this to make sure that it has the right level of saltiness. Go ahead, and this one you can play with. You don't want to play with the sour cream or the mayonnaise or the cream cheese, but you can add more avocado, you could add more lime juice, you could add more or less garlic salt, or use a seasoning salt instead. That way you can definitely play around with it. All right, smear that in the bottom. And now we're gonna choppity chop. So we'll set this over there. This is just iceberg lettuce. Always punch out the bottom, fill it with water, dump it out. That way you can kind of wash your lettuce, because when you don't, it tastes kind of weird. I'm not a big lettuce girl anyway. If you cut it, so you want to remember people are going to be eating this on chips, okay? So you want to cut it pretty thin, like you'd get a bag of shredded lettuce. With these toppings, the goal isn't to like fill the dish up. It's just to get a good layer and then add the next layer. And then I usually do cut it the other way too. All right, so let's see if that's enough lettuce. Yeah, order is lettuce first. Next, we're gonna do cheese. Again, we are shredding it ourselves. Okay, I like to buy the giant blocks of cheese at Sam's Club, and then we just keep them in the fridge and work off of those. This is medium cheddar. You could use sharp cheddar, or Colby Jack if you want. When you shred your own cheese, it is going to be a little stickier. That's why they add that filler in it to get it not to stick. Again, you're not trying to like make a huge thick layer. but you want to make sure it's covered. You might not need quite all of this, but that's okay. I'll just stick it in a Ziploc in the fridge. I'm so excited about eating this tonight, you guys. This is so yummy. Okay, next layer is tomato. I will say you are going to want to eat this within a day or two. The combination of the avocado and the lettuce does get a little bit weepy. So if you don't eat it fast enough, it gets kind of watery. You're going to cut your tomato in small bite-sized pieces. And usually one does it. If you cut from top to bottom, then you have 2 layers in your tomato, so then it makes this chunk and this little chunk. Just something I figured out making fresh salsa for years and years. And then you can go back this way, chop it up. I'm not allowed to have sharp knives at my house because I hurt myself, so if you're watching my videos and you're like, she needs sharper knives, yes, she does. But she also needs to keep all her fingers and toes. So my husband doesn't let me have sharp knives. Doesn't let me. Could I go buy my own? Yes. Last year, my sister gave me some for Christmas and my whole family looked at her and groaned. And she's like, what did I do? They're like, you're giving her sharp knives. We're gonna end up in the ER. I've never ended up in the ER. Next layer. So see, again, we're not covering the whole thing. Just little sprinkles of everything. See, these little things, they're just great. It's just about the right amount. If you want more olives, open up another one, but then you didn't waste the whole can. Okay, last but not least is going to be our onion. Always cut off the top and bottom. I know, this is not the proper chef way to do it. I cut off the top and the bottom, cut it in half, take off the outside layer, and you're like, oh, Mindy, you're wasting so much onion. I know, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chop this up. Again, if you go this way, you have the rings in it that when you come back, it's gonna make you nice little pieces, okay? Don't cut your fingers. Watch what you're doing as I stare at the camera. Okay, just a little sprinkle. And then I'm gonna throw this away. And I'm gonna tell you why, and then you do what you want. Onions clean the air. They pull in bacteria. Okay, so they're helpful for you when you eat them or you make a poultice. But like if you make a poultice and you put onions on your chest or in your socks, it's sucking out bacteria and viruses and things like that. You can set them out in dishes around your home when you're sick and they will suck that stuff out of the air. So now, thinking about that, if you leave this sitting on your counter or you put it in a bag in your fridge, what is this absorbing? So I'm okay with throwing a half an onion away every time I use an onion. I use what I want. It makes me happy. It was worth the money. And then I'm not worrying about whether that onion has sucked up and purified the air for me. And then I'm eating all the junk that it purified the air. All right, give me a minute. We're gonna get out the chips and we're gonna have some yummy dip. We always serve this with tortilla chips. Pick whichever kind you like best. I don't really think there is a right or a wrong answer. Grab yourself some. And then you know what? I kind of cheat. I don't eat it in the layers. I always use, let's grab a nice, I always kind of mix it up on my plate a little bit. Yes, I usually break a few chips doing this, but see all that creamy goodness? And you mix it up together. So. I'm telling you, this won't disappoint you. If you like avocados, if you like lime, like I said, it's cold, a little bit tangy, and it's just a really nice alternative to a meat and bean or a hot dip with your chips. Enjoy. I need to stop saying K. Hey guys! Okay. Okay. Okay, it's better than